What happened to the world? What happened? See, I remember when you had a grievance with someone. Everyone would do it the human way, would man up and air their grievances face to face. And now, I get it. Someone like me isn't fully in touch with society anymore. Someone like me tells people to stay woke, while I myself am controversial. You see, I reflect on myself countless times in a day. And ever since I was a kid, I used to wonder why things happened to me. And it's a common thought that any human would have, but it's a matter of what answer you're searching for. Because I have realized anything that's happened to me that's negative or has had a negative outcome is based off the fact that when I tried to do something with good intentions and it backfired. All my enemies weren't meant to be enemies. All my exes weren't meant to be exes at some point. All friends that betrayed me, that wasn't meant to happen. But somewhere down the line, a slight mistake can throw it all away. Now, I ain't no mathematician. I can't do math at all. But I'm pretty sure I've stuck with people no matter how many mistakes they made. But the moment I make one mistake, like how humans make mistakes, they're quick to leave. They're quick to denounce me, degrade me, outcast me, overlook me, underestimate me. And where? Where in society did this become a thing? All the hypocrites. And I'll keep saying this. I do good things in life and I do bad things now. Now I know my intentions no matter what I do. I will not apologize if I fuck up someone's life. I will not apologize if I fall in love with someone and someone else doesn't like it. I am controversial, outspoken, unapologetic, unorthodox, unconventional, elusive, cryptic, ominous. I am the definition of an anomaly. I live my life to where that no behavior I has can translate to something that someone else is familiar with. I try to make myself as different as possible, and sure, it may be more on the negative spectrum. That's fine. But no matter what my intentions are, I mean well. There's a method behind my madness. See, with Crystal, Miss Wifey, I speak one simple flawed feeling I had, while she can go get high and trip off whatever substance she wants to. I just speak an emotion just so it doesn't bottle up. I don't expect anything to do anything about it. I just wanted to get it off my chest and let it dissipate. And that decision she took personally left me homeless over some selfishness because she had drugs in her system. Annalise Chapman, Case in point, everything I've done for her, bought for her, stepping in when she was pregnant, and I'm selfish. I make one mistake, and that's a problem that stems from my childhood. Like she didn't have any problems that stem from her childhood. But now that's something where now she has friends of mine who are seeking her out and her boyfriend, Steven. So while I can chill back and relax and forget about her and say that now everything she done, the pain, as much as still lingers in my head, it's in the dark part of my mind where I feel comfortable. But while I can sit back and relax and let my mistake, my one mistake, settle while her 10,000 mistakes are still lingering in the world, I can sit back and watch her world crumble because people on behalf of me now have a spite and hate for her and want to see her head on a fence post. And I can sit back and wait for her judgment day. Tatiana Salgado, I made one mistake on behalf of her. And what happened? She gave up. But then she gave up on her ex-husband. She gave up on her two children. She gave up on me. Hell, she gave up on her own damn brother. And I'm the monster in all this. One mistake to her 10. For every one mistake I make, she makes 20. And that's a constant. Asher Farrow. Sorry, Natasha. I found your lies, I found your deceit. What was my one mistake? An irrational fear that you put in your own head. See, let me address this. Natasha. You led me and several of your friends on, and several of your loved ones on, just so that we would not infiltrate your life. You messed with our heads so we wouldn't mess with your life. Sounds kind of hypocritical, doesn't it? Because now, that would mean on the other side of that, and whatever side of your two faces you used, that means not messing with our head would make us mess with your life. Natasha, let me make this promise and put it on my kids and put it on any loved one that you've lost in the years. Because you messed with everyone's head, now we're gonna mess with your life. But here's the other funny thing. It's not just me now. Like I said, anything that happened with Annalise, you got more people to worry about than just me. Because even if I don't physically do something about it, or like I pull the strings. But the thing is, I tend to associate with people who don't care about their lives, who have nothing to live for. So that way, it's like a suicide bomber. They have their purpose is for chaos, is to chaos and fight and to meet their maker. They found purpose in death. They found purpose in darkness. They found purpose in imprisonment. They found purpose because they know exactly the same pain that I feel and that I've been subjected to. They know all about betrayal, fear, deception, abuse. Something Natasha knows all too well. And you see, we backtrack more. I've had my jaw separated by my stepfather, Johnny Matthews. And what was that mistake? I stood up for my mother. One mistake to his 10. narcissistic, egomaniacal, self-absorbed, selfish, drug-addicted alcoholic. My one mistake cost me against his 10. Backtrack even a little bit farther. Chastity Ellis. Oh, my brother was right about her. You can't make a wife out of a hoe. And what did I do? My mistake was trusting someone who wasn't meant for someone like me. My one mistake to her 10. See, I'm not one to bitch and moan and dwell on the past, but to me, I don't consider it dwelling. I consider it evaluating. So once again, going down the name of lists, I am aware I've made mistakes in my life. But there is so many justifiable reasons. And now I may seem like an asshole because I don't care. Because no matter what I do to make amends, no one's going to see it that way. Victoria Webke is not going to see it that way. Shyla and Shauna Gross are not going to see it that way. Cody Pans is not going to see it that way. Johnny Matthews is not going to see it that way. Annalise Chapman not going to see it that way. Michael Pat is not going to see it that way. Tatiana Salgado is not going to see it that way. Elena Garber is not going to see it that way. Mariah Ernst is not going to see it that way. Brandy Galvin's not going to see it that way. Shane Rathman's not going to see it that way. Katie Dobbs is not going to see it that way. Stephanie Lyons is not going to see it that way. Chastity Ellis is not going to see it that way. Robert Gardner is not going to see it that way. Trista Kay is not going to see it that way. Callie Cannon's not going to see it that way. Jaden Cook's not going to see it that way. Alexandria Frank is not going to see it that way. Naviana Wilson's not going to see it that way. Tanya Somwell's not going to see it that way. Tobias is not going to see it that way. Jalen Parrish is not going to see it that way. Kaylee Schultz is not going to see it that way. Bailey Peterson's not going to see it that way. Kayla Starr's not going to see it that way. Natasha Farrow's not going to see it that way. Jeffrey Webb is not going to see it that way. The world's not going to see it that way. But I'm not going to apologize. I tried to make amends. Chanel Woods Anderson's not going to see it that way. There's another one for you. None of the Ericksons are going to see it that way. Crystal Garcia's not going to see it that way. Miss Lynn Gonzalez is not going to see it that way. Barbara McLean is not going to see it that way. No one's going to see it the same way I do. But it's not all bad. Because like I said, I'm not going to apologize for anything I've done now. Now, if anything, I'm going to take pride in hurting. Because I tried to make amends. I tried to apologize. And what people do, they say they accept my apology only to spit back in my face and become two-faced and hypocrites. But I get it. I'm not one who's meant to be liked by enemies. They're enemies for a reason. They're exes for a reason. They're former friends for a reason. Somewhere down the line, whether I become wealthy enough, whether I have a business idea, whether I'm still alive to do something about it. No matter what I have down the line, somewhere down the line, someone's going to jump back on the bandwagon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick them off that bandwagon as they tumble on the concrete. Because I am a proud sinner. I now accept every mistake and every burden I have. But my enemies should think of this. If you have the gall to have insulted me for what I've done to you, Victoria Webke, Tatiana Salgado, everyone. If what I've done had to have you insult me as bad as you've done, say the things that you've done, egg me on as you've done, if you were as sane and as good-natured of a person as everyone has claimed to be, then what's the point of having to bicker with me? If you were so good-natured and such a better person than I am, but yet all the insults you've called me, even though they're true, and if I know it, you'd be playing Captain Obvious. So if everyone is good-natured as they claim to be, but yet they've said some harsh things to me. Annalise Chapman, if you are as good-natured as you claim to be, but you bring up my kids, are you really a better person than me? Victoria, if you are so good-natured and such a cancer survivor, I'm not cancer, so good luck surviving. But on top of that, if you call me a psycho, a lunatic, I will never be loved. You told me to go kill myself. Are you really better than me? Emily Ham, if you're such a good-natured person and you tell me to go kill myself or that I just use people, are you really a better person than me? Because you cannot say you're speaking the truth. Because you know nothing about darkness. So if everyone is as good-natured as they claim to be, then how do you play right into my game? How do you become pawns in my human game of chess? You say, do, and think the things that you do, and and everyone thinks they're a humanitarian? See, there's two sides of me, and there's two faces to all my enemies. But the difference is, people with two faces are all bad. Nothing good comes from either side of their faces. But like me, my two sides are like the moon. There is that darkness, but there is that light. Just because it's a full moon, do not think that the other side there's not going to be a little bit of darkness to show. Because I'd rather be hated for what I am than loved for what I'm not. If anyone has something to say it to my face and not behind my back. Even though people resolve it in the pettiest of ways nowadays. But also like the moon. Some point in time, it's going to come crashing down on you. And that's not a threat. That's karma. And if karma's not going to do the job, I will take over for karma. And I am a proud sinner, while you are false saints. And I keep. They say put your enemies in the rear view. Trust me, I'm not keeping them in the rear view. I'm not putting my past way behind me as I drive along into the sunset. All my enemies of my past is in the trunk, with a shovel, with duct tape, and with gasoline. I'm not going to forget about my past or forget about my enemies. I'm just going to carry those demons till I can burn them and bury them. And that, my friends, is your dose of cryptic wisdom.